Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded anything. Well, technically uploaded anything. I uploaded a couple videos a couple weeks ago, but I am putting together this compilation of all my solo Trevor Henderson creature videos, so all of you can enjoy them, and they're all going to be in one spot, so you guys don't have to go through the playlist or anything. It'll make it more convenient. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you at the end.
Today we are going to be discussing Longhorse, something that has been making its rounds around the internet. This cryptid is not as popular as the other creations by the man named Trevor Henderson, but it is still one of the best so far, and one that has a regular story going on. On August 24th of 2015, Trevor Henderson posted this image that had the caption, "I had that dream again," about the horse on the stairs. Now you might be asking, what exactly is it? What is this creature? It seems to be something out of our plane of existence. Something that we cannot comprehend ourselves just yet. The story divulges into many more pictures, as you will see here. Here's another image that he has posted. The image is captioned, "Longhorse in the suburbs." Now as we can see, this creature, its neck extends beyond the photograph. There is something to it that just will drive fear into the people that see it. But for all the wrong reasons. A month or so later, another image was posted that seems quite perplexing. It's a cave painting that shows Longhorse's extended neck wrapping around three people, with the caption that says, "They've always been here." It shows a couple other beings scattered around locations like subways, cave paintings, buildings. It is terrifying to realize that these creatures have always been with us, and only now have we been able to observe them in the modern age. And if you want to know more about this creature, well, you're in luck. Longhorse means well. Its skin is like wax, pliable. It has a curious nature. Its neck bends like a finger, and it can make a new joint at will. Portions of the neck don't have to connect in a linear space. It is deathly quiet, except for a faint cracking when it bends its joints. Its neck is infinite for all who observe it. It is non-hostile, though its appearance often precedes disasters of misfortune. The neck will always terminate out of the view of observers. And, the best part, it smells like cinnamon. And now with all these facts laid upon you, you know why this creature is here. You know it means well, and it is very curious. There have been sightings, video footage of the creature, as I will show you here. Now what is the long game for this creature? We don't know ourselves, but we know that it is here to protect and warn against creatures that are not unlike itself, but have no good intentions. And there's many more creatures out there, cryptids and monsters. For example, the Mothman, a terrifying creature that is also seen before disaster strikes. People have observed it and have noticed that it's only there when disasters are about to happen, so they pull the conclusion that it is there to warn them. So, if you see Longhorse, if you hear the faint crackling of its joints bending, don't be afraid, but also run, because you never know what deadly disaster it is trying to warn you of. So don't be afraid of it, but be afraid of the things it's trying to warn you of. Hello and welcome back to Dark Mysteries. Today, is going to be a special day because we are going to be covering one of Trevor Henderson's most famous creations. And so far, it is getting to be just as popular as some of the most famous creepypastas out there. So, who are we going to be discussing today? Today, we're going to be discussing the one and only Siren Head. It all began on August 19, 2018, when Trevor Henderson posted this image with the caption reading, "She was on vacation with her husband, and they were scoping out graveyards on the way, as you do, when she saw it, rising out of the old cemetery, big as an old telephone pole. Was this some kind of bizarre art piece that authorities hadn't gotten wise to yet? Even as she stepped out of the car, the megaphones on its head screeched to life, 9, 18, 1, child, 17, remove, vile." A buzzing double voice screamed random words at her. At this point, it jerked into motion and strided down the hill towards her. Now, not only is this a terrifying sighting of Siren Head, but you might also be asking, what makes this one so special? Well, not only is it becoming one of the most famous creepypastas right now, but it is also one of Trevor Henderson's reoccurring monsters in his gallery. And it has a lot more sightings and a lot bigger fan base than I would say even Longhorse has. Like I mentioned, it's not the only sighting of this creature. Trevor Henderson also posted this image on September 18th, 2018, with the caption reading, "Family of 4 missing from their suburban home this Thursday night. With no signs of a break-in, neighbors reported the disappearances when they saw the backyard patio door was left open and no one answered the front door when they..." And that's where it cut off. It didn't continue. Now, not only are we getting new information about what this creature can do, but it is starting to leave a trail of bodies. And it goes back decades. So unlike Longhorse, this creature is not friendly. This creature is here to hurt us. Last known sighting was today. Now, if you want to protect yourself against Siren Head, you better listen up, because I got some information for you that might be vital to your survival. Siren Head is around 40 feet tall, about the size of a telephone pole. Siren Head's skin looks like rusty metal, but it's actually dried and mummified skin. Arms are as long as the length of its body, big reach like a gibbon. Siren Head has been seen with different head arrangements, though it is unclear whether those are subspecies or if it's able to change its head to better hide when hunting. It is a highly skilled predator using deception and subterfuge to confuse and disorient a prey. It is unclear if or how it gains nourishment from things it kills. Siren Head's speakers constantly pump out strange music, odd snippets of conversations, and angrily shouted words and numbers. When it's asleep, it plays white noise. Siren Head's speakers are the only actual metal on its body fused with its dry skin. Siren Head's abdomen and chest show wires pressed against the skin. Siren Head will remain motionless while hunting, sometimes for days at a time. Siren Head is most frequently seen in rural town areas and in heavily wooded areas. His head will rotate on its neck as it broadcasts, much like an owl looking for prey. It even inspired a game. So now with all this information, it should help you stay clear and have more information about Siren Head. But in my opinion, there's much more going on to this creature. Now, one thing I did notice was the similarities to Slender Man. They both became really popular after a couple of photographs of the sightings. Then a huge fan base grows. And then games are made about them. Could it be that Slender Man and Siren Head come from the same place? Same type of demented, deranged universe or dimension where they feed on scared creatures. Scared children, adults, it doesn't matter. They don't take sides. But if one thing's clear, if Longhorse is here to protect us and warn us, then Siren Head is for sure here to kill us. So, you thought that Siren Head was as evil as something can get. Well, I think I might have found something way worse. Something that for sure will send shivers down your spine. Today, the dark mystery that we are going to be covering is the Country Road Monster. On October 24th, 2018, Trevor Henderson posted this image up on his page. And as you can see, is a very pale, thin, and long creature. The caption on this image reads as follows: "Don't take the back roads home." So at first, you might think this is just another siren head lurking around in the forest, in the country roads behind someone's house or town. But it is clearly missing the siren's forehead. So, if it is not Siren Head, then what is it? Later on in the year, Trevor Henderson also posted this image, which shows what could be the same creature passing in front of his car again. The caption on this image reads, "And something passed by." Now, as you can see, the creature has massive claws, which we have to assume means that it is a predator, which probably means that it hunts its prey, and it is most likely a meat eater. The next couple of images that I'm going to show here seem to show the same creature, but it has not been confirmed, nor do we know if it is one of a kind, so this could mean that there are many of these creatures. This photo right here, with the caption reading, "Someone is laughing in the yard," seems to show the same creature, laughing. And if it indeed is the same creature and it is laughing, then we can only assume that it is capable of speech, and even, maybe, mimicking human speech. The next image, which is shown right here, is captioned, "Here's looking at you." It seems to be in the driveway of Trevor's house, or in the driveway of someone else's house, which means that this thing will follow you home, and you are not safe. If you are not careful, you are not safe, not even at your own home. This image right here is a creature, which I am assuming is the same one, based on all the information that I have gathered, and as you guys can see, all the pictures I have gathered. This image gives us a grave reminder that even at home, you are not safe with this creature, just like the last image. Some creature, this thing, followed you home and is just staring in your window, and you are powerless to stop it. Now, from the features alone, the claws and the weird looking face, it does seem to be the same creature. So, Trevor's already captured this creature trying to enter his home and following him home from wherever he came. That started with him on the country roads. The next image that I will show you shows a man in the middle of the road. It seems to be wearing a suit, but by the look of it, there's no way it is human. There is no way. The caption reads as followed: "We pulled over. He said he had something important to show us." Now here we can confirm that if indeed this is the same creature, that it is able to speak. It is able to lure people into a safe place where it can kill them. If it is the same creature, it has the ability to shapeshift, which in itself is already a very terrifying thought to think about. A creature that you just randomly find in a forest, stalks you home, it could kill you that way. Or you could be driving down this country road, you could be standing on the side of the street, looking like a man in a suit, lures you in, asks for help, gets in your car, and then kills you. That is terrifying to think about, that this thing is out there. And then there's this final image, and it has one terrifying caption. "The RV refusing to start quickly became the least of their worries. The thing that had been circling them had stopped being so bold,
and by his watch, it was noon and still pitch black outside. The headlights flickered as it circled past the windshield once again. So this creature, if indeed it is the same one, doesn't only stalk this country road, it also just lives in the woods and camping sites where people are more likely to be in danger because they are in the middle of nowhere and maybe they can't even escape it. Like the caption was saying, the RV would not start. And then just the flicker of the lights, they got to see a little bit of this creature. And this creature alone is probably more dangerous than Siren Head. Just because you don't hear it coming. You might think it's just a breeze in the wind. Branches breaking. Oh, the forest is settling. You will not know that this creature is there. There is no warning. And by the looks of it, you won't find one until it's too late. Now, with all my research and all these images that I have concluded that this creature may indeed be a Wendigo or a skinwalker. A Wendigo seems a little bit more appropriate for the looks of this creature, but a Wendigo does not have the one feature that this creature seems to have, which is shape-shifting. A Wendigo does look like this, although being smaller, but it does possess the ability to mimic human speech and has sharp claws, skinny looking body, very long, very white-esque looking. It is very similar to what this creature could be, very vampiric, but it does not have the ability to shapeshift. That goes to the skinwalker, which is just a Native American with the abilities to change into multiple creatures. So we might not know exactly what this creature is, and unlike the last two I have covered, there are no facts about it. So we are left in the dark to speculate. What is this creature? And what is it here to do? Is it here to harm us? Or is it here to protect us? We may never know. But hopefully it doesn't come after you tonight. Hello, and welcome back to Dark Mysteries. Today, we're going to be covering one of Trevor Henderson's first and one of his most famous creations, and has been requested by a couple of you. So, what are we going to be talking about today? Today, we are going to be talking about the one and only cartoon cat. This story begins on August 4th, 2018, when Trevor Henderson posted this image with a caption reading, "They're just like your favorite cartoons." Now, if we take a quick look at this image, it is very unnerving. A cartoon character standing what seems to be an abandoned house. Doesn't look quite like a cat yet. It looks more like a dog. I have a theory about that. So, let's continue. On August 10th, 2018, Trevor Henderson also posted this image with the caption reading, "What they found in the dirt mall." Now, if we take a look at this image, this starts to look more like a cat, hence getting the name Cartoon Cat. But we can see that it is very tall. It reaches the beams of the ceiling of the mall, and that more than one person has seen it at this point. We can see that its hands look to be wearing gloves, and it has a very big contorted smile across its face, and two big eyes. On August 15th, 2018, Trevor Henderson also posted this image with the caption reading, "The classics are coming back." Now this image is way more terrifying than the other two. Its head snaking away from its body, the rest of its body being hid in the shadows, and the car lights shining on its gloves and its snake-like head, with blank, empty eyes staring back at you. You can only wonder what you would do if you caught this creature in the middle of the road. What would you do? But
that's not the last sighting. There's a lot more, and it starts to show that it is very, very evil. On August 22nd, 2018, Trevor Henderson posted another image showing cartoon cats standing outside an abandoned house, and you can see how tall it really can be. It stands almost to the roof of this building, with its smile looking like it's becoming a roar, trying to threaten whatever person is disturbing it. We can see that this entity has a lot of cartoonish features, but it is not friendly. If the last image hasn't shown you that, then I don't know what will. Even though it does resemble Felix the Cat, a 1930s cartoon character, which is why I feel he is referencing a lot of old cartoon tropes. Just like the caption says, that's all, folks. On September 22nd, 2018, he posted this image of the creature seeming to be stalking someone. It seems to be more monstrous in appearance. Its feet turning into sharp, slinky legs coming away from its body, the arms outstretched, unable to be seen, and its mouth finally revealing a monstrous set of teeth, ready to chomp on your head whenever it gets the chance. And it's standing in someone's dining room, so I presume that this person made it out alive because we got a picture, but I think we all know what it was there for. On June 6, 2019, Trevor Henderson posted this image showing Cartoon Cat running at someone with the caption reading, "Reruns." So we obviously already know it is hostile, and it's chasing someone to eat, to kill, to do whatever sick things this thing wants to do. And then the last image we have here, which I feel is the most terrifying out of all of them. It was posted October 3rd, 2019. Only a month ago was this creature last seen. Now we can see that it is outside someone's house, so this creature does love to stalk its prey and follow it all the way home. But we also know it likes abandoned places, and that's most of the information we can get because this creature has an information sheet just like the rest. All of it has been redacted. We can make out words here and there, maybe make out some of the sentences, like it often is found in abandoned places, or that it is incredibly cruel. But we can only assume what these things say, because for some reason this one has it all blocked out. Unlike siren heads or long horses, this one seems to be all blacked out, like someone's trying to keep it a secret. And the worst part, there was a caption under this sheet that said, "Cartoon Cat is one of the most of all the..." So, whatever you might make out of this creature, my theory is that it is a demon. And why a demon, you may ask? Because demons take the form of something friendly to persuade you to come closer. In the first image, we can see that it is not completely a cat yet, but a dog. I feel that this is when it was first trying to take its form, and progressively, the demonic forces could not hold back any longer, and it started to become more and more evil looking. This creature, I feel, has to be one of the most dangerous. If they're trying to keep it a secret and the data is expunged, if this is truly one of the most dangerous, worse than Siren Head, worse than the Country Road Monster, then you better watch out, because you'll never know what's lurking in your halls, outside your house, or maybe, just maybe, right next to you. We are going to be covering our one and only friend, Siren Head, because there's been a lot of interesting things that have been happening, and I want to cover them. So get ready and hold on for a Dark Mysteries update. So, you may be asking, Kaiser, what is this new information? Well, on October 11th, 2019, Trevor Henderson posted this image. with the caption reading, "Someone in the driveway." Now, as you can see, it doesn't show very much. Doesn't even show Siren Head's signature head. But, in my opinion, from the research I've done before, and all the pictures of Siren Head so far, this has to be Siren Head. And he's in someone's driveway, next to a forest. So now he is moving out of his home, out of his turf, looking for prey, I assume. But I'm not sure, because the next couple images do shed some more light on his whereabouts and what he may be doing. On November 11th, 2019, Trevor Henderson also posted this image, which is another sighting of Siren Head, with the caption reading, "We heard it long before we crested the hill and saw it in the fields, unmoving. I could tell it was looking at me, even though it didn't have a head." So as you can see, this image is taken during the beautiful sunset, but something looms in the distance. Siren Head, standing in the fields, watching them. Who they might be, who knows? All we know is that they're alive. But honestly, this alone is terrifying, because there is no signs of any forests nearby. Maybe that small one in the background, but he's moving on into fields. He is not afraid. And he's standing nearby a giant wind turbine. And he seems to be pretty tall. It might be perspective, but in my opinion, it still seems pretty tall. And he is out of his comfort zone. What is he doing? He is no longer hunting in the forests. He's moved to the fields, which isn't the first time we have seen him out of a forest, but that was a long time ago. What is he doing, and where is he going? Trevor Henderson also posted something else interesting not long after, the next day to be precise. On November 13th, he posted this image, which is nothing special, but the caption is, "I found something, a scrapbook of sorts. Someone was tracking monsters. They've compiled a lot of previously unknown information on what appears to be a variety of entities, and I'm making copies. Stay tuned next month." So, next month we could have more. And I'm glad, because it's terrifying to know that these things are out there and we are helpless to stop them. And Trevor Henderson, 4 days ago, posted this image. It's another sighting, and that's exactly what the caption says. But you might be mistaken to think it was actually from 4 days ago. This image was taken on November 14th, 2019. And it's a Polaroid. Someone has captured him again on the move, now in a suburban area. And that's scary. He is moving long distances in different directions. Or these could be different siren heads being spotted across the world. Honestly, that's the most terrifying thing. And we don't know why. They are moving, because they're not in their comfort zone and they're coming into ours. And unlike Longhorse, he is not friendly, as we know. So why is he moving and where is he going? If you have any more information, put it in the comments below. If you have your own theories, put them in the comments below. If you have sightings, get them to me. I want to know, because this thing is out there. Today, we're going to be talking about Big Charlie. So if you don't know who Big Charlie is, well, there's not that much information on Big Charlie. But, although there are some pictures that we can make theories on, so let's take a look. On December 17th, 2018, Trevor Henderson posted this image. At first glance, you just see a giant creature walking down a snowy bank, wondering what it is. By reading the caption, you're able to see that the creature's name is Big Charlie. and that it has escaped a meat processing plant. And honestly, I'm trying to figure out myself what is going on. But we now know that it is a creature named Big Charlie. So, what is Big Charlie? It is very hard to distinguish what Big Charlie is because he has some unnatural features. On January 21st, 2019, another image of Big Charlie surfaced. Him moving in a herd of other cattle or sheep across a desolate night road. And honestly, he looks a lot different in this photo, but a lot more healthy, if that's the right word to say. He has a very pinkish, thin skin, and we can see his ribs, which means that he is very malnourished, or he just naturally is that skinny. He has big blue eyes, and a wide open, beak looking mouth, with 2 to 3 toes on each foot. But the most interesting part is that he is moving with a group of other cattle. Could this mean that he himself is a form of cattle? On September 19th, 2019, another image of Big Charlie surfaced. This time he looks very much more healthy. He is still on the move, the caption says. So where is Big Charlie going? We may never know. But there seems to be more to this story, even though these 3 images are the only ones we get of Big Charlie. And honestly, he seems like another one of the friendly creatures that have been sighted around the world that Trevor Henderson has posted. And that's great. But it doesn't seem to be the only one. There are 4 images of similar creatures that I will be showing you. But first, I wanted to give my theories on what Big Charlie might be. Big Charlie might be some sort of crazy science experiment gone wrong. He escaped a meat processing plant, and nowadays you can't go 5 minutes without getting a giant meaty burger from the nearest fast food restaurant, or steaks, or any sort of meat, McNuggets, whatever you'd like to say. And honestly, this might have led to the creation of Big Charlie and the other creatures that I'll be showing you today. On March 6th, 2019, Trevor Henderson posted this image, and it's a very grotesque looking blob of meat. The caption reads, "She saw it because she couldn't sleep and had noticed the backyard security lights had clicked on. It was standing, motionless, right where she buried Stanley, beside the shrubs. No eyes, but she could feel it glaring accusingly as it turned in her direction. It stank." Now, we would later come to know this creature as the Lamb, because it is very similar to another image that Trevor Henderson posted, and it is even dated to be seen all the way back in 1992. So what exactly is the Lamb? I feel like it's another failed experiment, but it is not from the meat processing plant, or it might be. If it is named the Lamb, it could exactly be from another one of these meat processing plants, trying to make meat for our satisfaction, but they end up escaping. Now it says it was staring accusingly at this person. So that might mean whatever experiments created these creatures might have given them supernatural abilities that the creators did not expect, which in itself is scary. On June 4th, 2019, another image was posted, and it's this one right here. This one looks scarier than the other 2 because it just looks menacing. Very blood red and skinny, ribcage exposed. The caption gives us more information. Rumors spread about the place, and it was generically an unspoken rule that it was a spot to avoid. People said that the last time someone trespassed, all they found were their clothes arranged neatly on the barren ground, with their bloody skin laid out beside them. Now this is terrifying. If this is indeed another creature that had come from these meat processing plants, these genetic experiments that they have created, this one is more aggressive. And this one has the urge to kill, ripping off its victim's skin and just leaving him there, maybe eating the body, maybe giving him torture to the humans or things that trespass as revenge for what they did to it, since it seems to not have skin of its own. And this is our last image, an unannounced house guest, looking very similar to the other 3 creatures. What exactly is going on at these meat processing plants where these creatures are being created? Do we really have to satisfy our lust for this meat? And to the point where we have to create these creatures that just want freedom and to live a life like Big Charlie or the lamb. And honestly, this is sickening to think about. There's more theories about how these creatures have been mixed with other genetics to be able to satisfy our lust, like Big Charlie's mixed with a chicken and a lamb. This would prove a theory right, but honestly, it's just sickening to know that we are doing these crazy things to animals. We are playing God just to satisfy our needs, and that is wrong. Because if these creatures do end up having supernatural powers, they might strike back one day, and they might kill us, and they might torture us for everything we've done. And who can blame them? All they wanted was freedom, and they were never asked to be made. So, what am I covering today? Well, I will be covering the one and only bridgeworm. So, like I said, this has been a very highly requested creature to cover because it is very mysterious and there's not a lot of information on it. Trevor Henderson posted an image about 17 weeks ago. He posted this image, and it doesn't give us a lot of information, but it does show us what seems to be a pale white face that seems to be sad, with hands with sharp claws at the end, and it seems to be coming out of a tunnel under a bridge. Hence the name Bridgeworm, which Trevor Henderson at this point dubs this creature. Now it may look friendly, but it is not. Trevor Henderson posted another image the same day, an info sheet on this creature, something we don't get from many of the creatures he's posted about, but this one seems to have deserved its own. Bridgeworm has a false face, and it is scary once you get to see the real face. He tells us not to be fooled because the real face is a fleshy, disgusting, monstrous face with jagged teeth, a hole where the nose should be, and 2 bulging eyes. And you may be wondering, why does it hide its appearance? Well, I have a theory on that, and we'll get to it later. The next day, Trevor Henderson posted another image, which seems to be a first-person view of someone getting attacked by this creature, with its fake face pulled back, showing us what it really looks like. The caption gives us some more information on the backstory of this image, but I may warn you, some of these aren't for the faint of heart. The bridgeworm will sometimes venture far from its nest if prey is hard to come by, instinctually hunting at night in abandoned areas to avoid discovery. The adolescent bridgeworm folds back its false face as it prepares to feed. R.I.P. photographer Thomas Piercing, missing and presumed dead. The scientific community thanks you for your service. Now, this is the only time we've gotten confirmation that the photographer's dead. His name was Thomas Piercing. Rest in peace, my dude. And as they said, they are thanking him for bringing this scientific discovery to light. But the one thing that gets me the most unnerved is that this is an adolescent bridgeworm. It's not even a full-grown adult, which I think I have found some images in the past that may have shown us what an adult bridgeworm may look like. 10 weeks ago, Trevor Henderson posted this image, another worm-like creature with appendages in another tunnel. You may be thinking that is just another random creature, but I'm thinking it is related to bridgeworm in some way. And the caption may hint to this as well. Despite evidence that renovations had been underway, sections of crumbling wall bordering on miles of discarded maintenance tunnels had been recently torn down upon investigation. Both crews did not clock in on the subsequent Monday and are still missing. So this is another creature that lives in tunnels and hunts down people as its food source and prey. It looks like a bridgeworm if its flap started molding with its actual face. And I think that's exactly what's going on. At this point, this is another form of this creature, maybe metamorphosizing into its adult version. And it's just terrifying to think that maybe these things have been around forever and we have not known. And that would explain a lot of missing persons cases. And 33 weeks ago, there's another image. This image, which shows a tunnel with a giant mouth at the end of it. And I believe that this is what the adult version of bridgeworm looks like when it's hidden. And the caption, again, is unnerving and just all around shows us that this creature is not friendly. When we finally got someone to listen to us, that there was trouble, real trouble happening in the tunnel, and then people are in danger, he was already gone. And the floor of the tunnel was covered in bones, layers and layers of bone. They couldn't even see the bottom. So this creature fed on however many people, probably hundreds of thousands of people. The bones remained at the bottom of this tunnel until people started investigating it, and it got away. And if you were wondering what this creature looks like full grown out in the open, I think we have an image for that too. Trevor Henderson posted this image. A worm stretching itself over the freeway, looking gigantic in size, coming out of the rocks of a cliff. Maybe the same creature from the last image. I believe that the face it used to hide its original face is now morphed into its face and just has its distorted features. And with this image, it shows us that it is not afraid to be seen anymore. It is big enough, maybe even strong enough, to attack anything and anyone that gets in its way. And my theory is that this could be some sort of creature that uses the same tactics as an anglerfish, dangling a light in front of its prey to draw it in and then attack it. In fact, this creature uses a sad face, a sad, fragile, unprovoking face, maybe to bring in sympathetic creatures to see if it's okay. And with that alone, it draws in its prey just to kill it. Honestly, that's a pretty bad way to go, trying to help something that you think is in danger, and it ends up hurting you and killing you instead. That's my theory, because this creature does seem to want to hurt humanity. Now, it's one of the abundant amount of creatures that Trevor Henderson has found that is actually dangerous. There doesn't seem to be that many good creatures here. And this planet, this universe, this multiverse, it does not seem that we have a lot of good allies on our side. And honestly, that is more terrifying than anything. So, next time you are running around at night, you go by some train tunnels, you go under a bridge, you go anywhere dark and deep, keep a lookout. You never know if you might be the next victim of Bridgeworm's wrath. Put your hands together, because today we are going to be going over the one and only Little Nugget. So if you don't know who Little Nugget is, that's fine, because he's actually rarely new, but he seems to be growing popularity in the fandom of Trevor Henderson's creations. And honestly, it's really adorable. On December 17th, 2019, Trevor Henderson posted this image, which isn't just about Little Nugget, it's about all these creations that he's planning on making. And in the bottom left corner, you can see Little Nugget. And honestly, it's adorable as hell. But you can also see there's a variety of other creatures that I may be covering eventually when they are created. On December 18th, just the next day, Trevor Henderson posted this image. And you can see Little Nugget. Aw, he's adorable. And as you can see, Little Nugget appears to be a small, fleshy, four-legged creature with an oval-shaped head, and with the spots on its body looking like two eyes, with one big and one very small. And its skin appears to have the consistency or texture that of slab meat. And by taking a quick glance at Little Nugget, it seems to be relatively harmless, but not much of anything is really known about this creature. So it could be one of Trevor Henderson's tricks, just like Bridgeworm. And it comes with a little bit of information, which Trevor Henderson calls nuggetbacks. His skin is moist and thin. Your fingers leave indents when you hold him. He runs all over, but his head is too heavy, so he often flops over from the weight. It likes to pilfer from your cabinets. Perfect holes appear in food packaging, and those little spots on its head aren't eyes. I will also like to point out that Little Nugget seems to have a resemblance to the lamb. This could be a baby version of the creature, and that would be interesting for the lore of the overall story of that creature, that we get a little version of it that is harmless, but when it grows up might be very, very dangerous. On December 30th, he posted this image, which is a comic strip of the creature, and the caption reads, "A good boy." So far, we're getting the indication that this creature is very, very adorable and very, very nice and not at all hostile, which again could be a trick. And on January 2nd, he posted this last image, another little comic strip showing the spots falling off. So they're not even spots, they're just something else on its body that can fall off. But that's all we have for Little Nugget. But like I said, he has grown a little bit in popularity in the past couple of days because, oh my gosh, he is adorable compared to most of the other creatures. Unlike Siren Head and, Bridgeworm, this one seems to catch the fandom by just going in awe. And unlike all those other creatures, it has gained a wide variety of popularity among the fandom for being very adorable, to the point where they're making memes about it now, and I am honestly surprised. Little Nugget is just here to stay, and he is the most adorable one so far. Today, we are going to be expanding some lore because Trevor Henderson has uncovered and posted some more information regarding one of our recent friends, and also telling us where he came from exactly and what else is related to him. Today we're going to be covering, once again, our little friend, Little Nugget. If you don't know who Little Nugget is, it's this little fella. And Trevor Henderson has been having an amazing time posting about him. There's so many new pictures that have been posted, and they're all cute and they're all great. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. Today I'm here to talk about the lore that has just been expanded for this creature. So, the lore expansion is actually very, very interesting because it comes from another one of our good fellas that we appreciate very much and want to protect. It is Big Charlie. And you may be wondering, what does Big Charlie have to do with any of this? Well, Big Charlie is the cause of all of these little nuggets and other creatures, and it's actually a kind of life cycle now that is getting a bit out of hand, but at the same time it is creating new life, and it is creating new creatures with abilities that we cannot perceive. So here it is, the life cycle of what happens when scientists create a genetically mutated creature for unknown reasons and it escapes. Big Charlie, we already know who he is. I've covered him before, but you may see something else I've covered on here. It is the lamb. And Big Charlie is the cause of both of them. Because you see, when meat chunks fall off of Big Charlie, they grow and collect and become Little Nugget. And when Little Nugget starts to grow, he becomes the other.
which is shown in this picture with him that Trevor Henderson posted before. The other seems to be a darker version, maybe an evil version, or just a version with strange powers. And honestly, it just seems like a shadow of Little Nugget, so it might be evil. If it doesn't result in Little Nugget becoming the other, it will become a fully grown the Lamb. And its supernatural abilities will begin to awaken. Its eyes no longer exist, and its powers start to personify and grow. And it floats now, as you can see in these previous pictures of the Lamb. So what exactly is going on here? Scientists create a genetic life form, and in its own way, it starts to reproduce and create new life. Man, that is insane. Because if one wise man once said, life finds a way. And if we mess with life, it's gonna mess back. Creating something that could cause our extinction, or just causing something to create new life. And honestly, this is very cool expansion of lore. And we get a definitive reason of where these creatures came from. Not Big Charlie, there's still a lot of mystery around him. But we know where the Lamb and the other and Little Nugget come from. And they come from Big Charlie. What do you think of this new information that I've gathered? Do you think that the other is actually evil? Or are his strange abilities just causing him to look evil? And what do you think about the Lamb? Do you think it keeps the fun traits of Little Nugget? Or has itself become evil as well because of its strange powers?
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Dark Mysteries. Today we are going to discuss one of Trevor Henderson's newest discoveries, something that has taken the internet by storm. And he has said that it is just as deadly, if not more so, than Cartoon Cat. Today, we are going to be discussing the man with the upside down face. I was first made aware of the man with the upside down face back in January when Trevor Henderson posted these images. At first glance, you wouldn't notice anything wrong with these images until you take a closer look and you see a man, but there's something wrong with him. There's just something wrong, something off. This entity has an upside down face. It seems to appear out of nowhere. And from what I can see in these two images, it seems to be there after some sort of fatal crash has occurred. The third image, I'm not so sure about. It seems to be in the middle of a street market. And all three of these images seem to have been taken back in the early 1900s, confirmed by the caption that he wrote, which reads, "Man with the upside down face, seen in multiple photos throughout the 1910s to the 1960s. Often seen among crowds gathered after car accidents and fires. He's never seen at the scene, only after the fact." After taking a look at these images, it's hard to say what exactly the being could be without further research, which is why I took on this mystery. In the third image, you can see a sign that is in some sort of foreign language. I couldn't figure out for the life of me which one it was, so if you have any information on what it could be or where that picture could have been taken, leave it in the comments below. The next day, Trevor Henderson posts another series of photos where again, this strange being is almost undetectable until closer inspection. We can see here that this being was photographed at some sort of gathering, once again at the site of another horrible accident, which confirms the pattern that Trevor Henderson has told us about. The next photo shows the being next to some sort of railroad tracks, which I can't tell at first glance if it is the site of another accident or just a random gathering of people by some railroad tracks. Now, you may have noticed that the entity has been around a lot of people, but have any of these people actually seen it in person? Well, Trevor Henderson has actually answered this himself under the same post. It's interesting to note that no matter how close he gets to other bystanders, no one has ever recalled seeing him at that time. It's only in the photos after the fact that he is seen. So this being has not been seen before the photos were processed and able to be viewed by the public. So where exactly does it come from? And why does it only appear in the photos? This next drawing is actually an artist's reconstruction of what exactly the entity looks like, and it's actually quite frightening. He also gives us some more information on why his face is the way it is. His face is on wrong because he loves perverting our expectations of how a human is put together. He loves grief and pain, from roadside accidents, but any awful feelings will do. He's an awful parasite, like a leech or a lamprey. He's physically there, we can't see him though. He describes this entity as a parasite, which is an interesting choice of words. This could lead us to some sort of conclusion of what exactly it could be, and I'm starting to put together an idea of what it could be. The next piece of information we got is actually the anatomy of this entity, which is actually one of the weirdest I've seen. And I mean, I did a video on Big Charlie and his Holy Trinity. If you take a look, you can see that most of the muscles that a human normally has have been altered. The esophagus is behind the spine, which is terrifying that he has it at all. This may confirm that the entity may need to feed, and on what, you may ask? Let's hope it's not anything on our plane of existence. The spine is also connected to the top of the skull, which has now become the bottom. The next drawing actually comes from a child, which means that some kid or even kids out there have seen this entity in photos before it was brought to our attention. This drawing gives us some more info into where this kid saw this being. It apparently saw it at the crash site of its father, which again confirms that it is showing up at these accidents. Does this entity cause them in some way? Trevor Henderson has also said that the entity and cartoon cat are some of the deadliest creatures he's ever encountered. So who's to say that maybe this entity is not the cause of these accidents? After all, I'm starting to see a pattern here. This creature actually reminds me of a being called Baghul. It is a sort of demon that appears in videos of families that have been found mysteriously dead. Baghul is more like some sort of demon, which is why it fed on the flesh of beings it captured. I have also drawn some connections to the SCP known as 1471. SCP-1471 is a free 9.8 megabyte application for mobile devices named Mal-O version 1 and online application stores. After SCP-1471 is installed, no icons or shortcuts are created for the application. SCP-1471 will then begin to send the individual images through text messages every 3 to 6 hours. All images will contain SCP-1471-A, either within the background or foreground. SCP-1471-A appears as a large humanoid figure with a canine-like skull and black hair. It can only be seen in these photographs, and no contact has ever been made in person. The only difference is that this SCP is actually not hostile. There have been no cases of it actually attacking its victims, or even being around tragic events. I'm starting to believe that these creatures could be very similar, and may even come from the same plane of existence. So my theory for what this man with the upside down face could be is some sort of demonic entity that is here as maybe some sort of harbinger of death, or it could be here to feed on our soul. Death seems to follow it where it goes, and from what I can gather, it has been here a long time. So it could have been here a lot longer, then we know some sort of demon roaming this world in search of God knows what, maybe even causing death and destruction for just the fun of it. Could there be a way that we could even stop it if we found out that it was gonna do a mass attack? We may never know. But now that we have been informed, keep a lookout. So whenever you take a photo out in public, or you take a picture of a crash, take a closer look. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Hello, and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be covering the God of Chickens, a creature that has the capability to disrupt our world as we know it. A god among chickens that wants to free its kind from our grasp. Is this creature real, or is it all a myth? Let's find out in today's episode of Dark Mysteries. The story of the God of Chickens begins with a farmer named Jeff Collins, who has been missing for quite some time. The thing that ties this man with this entity is some journal entries that were discovered to have belonged to him. The entries begin when Jeff and his family move to a new farm that they bought for a really low price considering what they would have cost back then, which if you know anything about murder houses or cursed land, usually means that something has happened there. I will be reading some of his entries to you, and you can decide if this is just the ramblings of some crazed farmer, or that this man saw the God of Chickens itself. We finally got settled into the new farm. I was so happy that I was able to get it out of steel. Lots of space, good soil, and lots of room to grow. It even came with a chicken coop, so now I don't even have to build one for our chickens. I now believe that this was the right move to make for my family to succeed. It was annoying that the real estate kept trying to warn me about some sort of curse that is said to be on this land. She claims that this is why the land was so cheap, and it's been on the market for so long. Good thing I don't believe in curses. Our neighbors are really odd. They keep on looking at us strangely, and some even question us about buying the land even after hearing all the stories about the curses. It appears that our land is some sort of burial ground or something, blah blah blah. Magic isn't real, so why should I pay attention to any of that? I saw something strange the other day while I was walking through the woods near our farm. It looked like some sort of weird shrine. On it was a bunch of bird skeletons and shattered eggs. Everything around the location was dead or dying. It must have been something that the former owners had set up. I'm gonna have to do something about it. As you can see, this is where it starts getting weird. But why would the former owners put this shrine up? Is it to keep him away, or is it to worship this creature? And while all this is going on around Jeff, he has no idea that it's only going to get stranger from here. I tore down that shrine I found the other day. Didn't even take that many swings of a hammer, and then I just bagged everything up and tossed it away. It's silly how superstitious the locals are. It was just an ugly eyesore. Things have started to get strange. Every carton of eggs they brought in ended up with a few eggs being rotten. One time I even cracked one open with a chicken feeder still inside. Birds have been flying into the windows, and I've been waking up with little wounds on my legs, like chicken pecks. I finally saw it. I don't know what it is that I'm looking at, but I saw it. One night, I heard something was scratching on the door, and I thought it was a dog wanting to be let in. But when I opened the door, there was nothing there. Then, motion caught my eye, and I saw it looking at me from a distance, just staring. I slammed the door closed and went back to sleep. It must have just been a bad dream. Every egg is rotten. Our chickens are sick, and our crops are dying. There's something horribly wrong at this farm. I know now that I wasn't dreaming. I see it at nighttime, watching from the woods, judging me for what I did. What I saw was real. I know the truth now. God is real. So as you can see, everything started getting horribly bad. And the creature, when he saw it, he called it a god. And it seems to have manipulation around the area, killing his crops, disturbing the animals, maybe even killing them. And any sort of bird-like creature is going crazy. Could this indeed be a god? God finally came inside one night. It told me the truth. How can I gain forgiveness for my crime? I'm scared. I'm so scared. But I have to do it. Otherwise, I'll never be forgiven. Honey, if you're reading this, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That was the last entry. After this is when they assumed that Jeff went into the woods and he went missing after that, and no one was able to find him. After his family went out and searched for him, they found his journal. But they found something else too. They found another shrine, covered in bones and eggs. So what could have happened to Jeff? Did he sacrifice himself for the sake of his family? Did the creature kill him and make him into the new shrine? We may never know. We don't even know if what he saw was actually there, or if it was just a delusion in his mind. Whatever the case may be, the creature may be out there. And if you are a farmer, or someone who has to deal with chickens, or you've eaten chicken recently, or you let the system of cruelty towards the chicken industry continue, be aware. Because the god of chickens could have you in his sights right now, and you wouldn't even know it. He'd be watching you through your window as you sleep at night, waiting, watching. The story of the Smile Room started on July 27th, 2006, when 3 teenage friends found an amusement complex called Neb's Fun World in Ontario, Canada. 2 of them ended up breaking into it, while the third waited outside for them. After a while, he noticed that he'd been waiting there for a couple hours, without any signs of them coming back. So he decided to enter the complex and find them himself. The teenagers searched everywhere, but there were no signs of them. He managed to find one of their cell phones on the ground. When he unlocked the phone, he found something that was shocking. On the phone, there was a picture of a monstrous anomaly, which manifested itself into the back rooms of the complex. It appeared to be a gigantic human-looking vertical mouth with crooked teeth that manifested into an open doorway with the words "The Smile Room" written above the doorway. After finding this and having no clue where the 2 teenagers were, he ended up contacting the authorities and they ended up getting involved, eventually starting an investigation to find the missing teenagers. The authorities ended up searching the location, but they found nothing. Instead, they found a plain brick wall without any doors or signs. The mystery of the missing teenagers and the cryptid were kept a secret for a very long time. Everything changed on August 15th, 2018, when Trevor Henderson showcased the story and revealed the image in question. Henderson also gave a nickname to this entity, calling it the Smile Room, referring to the fake room that housed the entity. 2 months later, Trevor Henderson revealed another photo of the Smile Room on his Instagram account, showing it squeezed at the top of a flight of stairs with several small tendrils sticking out of the gums of the mouth, which made people theorize what this mysterious predator could be. On March 26, 2020, Henderson released a photo of a humanoid creature who had the same teeth as the Smile Room running down its body, calling it the Smile Room host. This photo seemingly implies that the Smile Room creature has the ability to infect victims and use them as hosts to further its mysterious goals. The Smile Room is not just a typical room. Trevor Henderson states that it is an entity that is somehow capable of manifesting as a fake room in a building using the technique to catch its victims. After a certain time, it moves to a different location. The fact that the recovered phone had a picture of the Smile Room from afar, even though it belonged to one of the Smile Room's victims, has led to the theory that the mouth has a tongue-like appendage to pull its victims in when they are far away. Though this supposed limb has never been seen, a more likely theory is that the inside of the Smile Room is like a black hole, sucking prey in, and if the victim tries to get out, it will only pull it in deeper until the victim gets to the end and is consumed by the horror. And if it latches onto the teeth while trying to escape, pretty sure it chops off its hands or whatever it's using to hold on. We will never truly know what this entity is and what it is here to do. But one theory sticks out to me. The one where this entity is able to infect other beings and use them as hosts to spread, which leads me to believe that it could be some sort of entity that comes from a hive mind. It reminds me of the creature from the movie Slither. Kinda looks like it too. In Slither, this creature falls to earth and infects a host and spreads throughout the town. The reason I think it's a similar creature is because of the way it looks like a fleshy monstrosity that seems to be infecting other creatures, and it can morph into whatever environment it is in. Still, this is just my theory, and there is still little known about this entity. If you have any of your own theories, put them in the comments below. It's not a secret that I'm a giant monster fan. When I have the chance, I usually mention my favorite giant monster of all time, the king of the monsters himself, Godzilla. Over the past couple weeks, I've seen mentions of what has been dubbed the Giant of Trevor Henderson. When my interest peaked, I had to look into it. And wouldn't you know it, it's full of giant monsters. So today, we are going to go over the history of the giant creations of Trevor Henderson. Also, only a small percentage of people that actually watch my videos are subscribed, so if you could, please subscribe. It's free, and it'll keep you up to date with all my new content. With that being said, let's get into the video. The first picture of the giants was released on July 30th, 2018, showing a massive humanoid that is bending down and shrouded in mist, supporting itself with its crooked arms and legs. A crowd of mysterious smaller humanoid creatures with what seems to be white spots on their heads is also seen near the giant. On August 6th, 2018, Trevor Henderson released another very unsettling image on his Instagram of a giant four-legged entity of unparalleled size going through a small village near a mountain. Its skin is a dark gray color, and its bendy neck is long enough to touch the clouds. It also appears to have several thin tentacle-like appendages dangling from its neck. There is also a warning in the image's description of a serious storm, with instructions to stay indoors. This creature has actually been named the Wandering Faith by Trevor Henderson himself, and he has confirmed a theory that the appendages dangling from its neck are used to carry believers to heaven. On August 8th, 2018, another photo was released of a storm hitting humanity. With this storm, two more creatures arrive. It is also confirmed that there are more creatures involved with this occurrence. These creatures appear to be smaller with different proportions. One appears to be very thin, possessing multiple very long legs, and only the foot of the second one is shown, which resembles a bird of sorts. The only thing this sighting and the previous one have in common is both creatures appear from storms and mist. Just 2 days later, on August 10th, 2018, yet another image of a giant was released. It shows a thin, bipedal, and very pale creature that is noticeably smaller than the previous two giants. It has a bird-like head and several small spiky limbs on its body. It also has several short tentacles under its left arm. The caption describes how humans have gotten used to this Goliath, becoming able to predict the arrival of the monster due to the heavy footsteps and the screaming birds around it. A series of pictures of the group of entities that would be known as the Giants on Trevor Henderson's Tumblr continued on September 2nd, 2018. The image shows a gray and very thin humanoid-like giant in the middle of the road that seems to be composed of a mysterious mist or something similar. The caption mentions a potential origin for these giants, mentioning 2 moons now appearing and overlapped spaces. Unfortunately, even before the times arrived, the scientific community gave up on theorizing the possible origins. 14 days after the previous image, on September 17th, 2018, another image of a giant was shown. The picture shows what is currently the biggest giant ever captured on camera, with the creature appearing to be the size of a small mountain. Unlike any of the previous monsters, it appears to be a giant mass of flesh supported by many lanky appendages, with 9 being visible. It also has 6 more appendages emerging from its back. This next picture is one that you may be familiar with. Released on November 10th, 2018, it shows a dark worm-like monster with 2 white eyes, a mouth, and nostrils emerging near a road. While still big, it is nowhere near as massive as any of the other giants shown in Trevor Henderson's series. Henderson has also stated that this creature is an adult version of a bridgeworm, a pale creature known to lure in prey with its sad-looking false face, which covers its fleshy, red actual face, featuring a mouth with sharp teeth that is most likely used to devour its prey. Unlike Trevor's illustrations of an adult bridgeworm though, this creature has darker skin and possesses no arms. It is possible that the bridgeworm species is able to grow in different ways. On December 21st, 2018, another image of one of the giants was released. This one shows a black-colored and very thin humanoid towering over a small city, with arms as long as its legs. Its most notable feature is its crooked neck, which causes its head to bend down. The caption simply states, "Breaking news." After almost a year, on July 30th, 2019, another photo was released to the public showing another giant tall enough for its head to breach the clouds, with its head surrounded by many birds. It appears that the creature is bipedal and possesses a head with 2 long protrusions emerging from the top and several small eyes running down the head. It also has pale skin and short tentacle appendages down its back and, quote-unquote, horns. In the description, it states how it's amazing what humans can adapt to after enough time, describing how people were able to get the evacuations down to a science, allowing people to still go to their jobs even when the giants emerge. Interestingly, the caption also describes fields that prevent the giants from doing much damage. On October 20th, 2019, the latest picture of the creatures was revealed, which only shows 2 thin bent legs and more tendrils. It finally reveals what the appendages are for. They have a role in abducting humans, though it's unknown if the human stays alive during the abduction. The caption again warns people to stay at home because of the storm, but not if you or a person you know is pre-chosen. So what do you think? Are these giants here to make peace? Are they here to save humanity? Or are they another giant monster that is here to take over our planet and destroy it? Tell me what you think in the comments below, and thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be doing another episode of Dark Mysteries, and I know it's been like 6 months since I started season 4, but, you know, Here we are. Now, I know I've covered a lot of creatures on this series over the last 2 years, but I feel like this one might be one of the most disturbing ones. It is something that was made for God himself. Today, we're going to be talking about the singing clergyman. A strange handmade automaton found in a hidden back room of the Church of the Benevolent Sound in Claremont, Ohio. Discovered by 2 teenage urban explorers in 1986, both claimed to have heard it sing in their presence, while both claimed that its sound was like nothing they have ever heard before. Both suffered from extreme insomnia, difficulty concentrating, and a desperate need to go back to the clergyman and hear it sing again. Now that was one of the eyewitness accounts of the singing clergyman. Now you might be asking yourself, why was this thing created and what does it look like? Well, I'll tell you. The appearance of the singing clergyman is described as an odd, handmade, and unusual humanoid automaton composed of a plethora of black wires crammed together, dripping a strange black liquid of unknown nature. The most visible wires are those that compose the entity's neck. The singing clergyman's neck is an unusually tall, erect pole of mixed black wires, sometimes shown coated in teal-colored rusty metal, and started from the entity's torso, which is concealed with white church robes that are sometimes visible with thin, decorative green patterns painted on the sleeves and top. So from what I just read to you, and from all the other research that I've done on this case and many others before, this seems like it's another biomechanical creature, in the likes of Siren Head or even Radionaut. It is a machine that has very organic parts or just has some thing that makes it look like it's a machine, and it's actually just a living creature. Upon examination of these quotes, we can conclude that the singing clergyman is an unfinished man-made automaton that dates all the way back to 1954, as that's when the entity was constructed by one Robert Lowhill Gaunt. This mysterious creator, along with his family, disappeared a month after taking a family photo with the nearly complete clergyman. An eerie part of the caption states that Robert was waiting for the final message from the Aether before he could add God's eyes and finish his creation. Trevor really hasn't provided any further information about the missing family, but has hinted that the final message was the family's disappearance. Them disappearing was the final message. And whatever this Aether was that was talking to Robert and telling him to make this thing probably wasn't God. And it probably was not good. Although the entity is essentially lacking several important elements for it to be fully formed, it seems to be functioning quite naturally, as discovered by 2 teenage urban explorers all the way back in 1986, as they found it within a hidden back room of the Church of the Benevolent Sound in Claremont, Ohio. It does make sense why the automaton has most of its body concealed with the seemingly worn church robes and has a clergyman in its name, as the entity was first discovered within the aforementioned church. After the discovery, the teenagers had both suffered from extreme insomnia and a difficulty concentrating and a desperate need to go back to the clergyman and hear it sing again. It is very likely that anyone who has encountered the singing clergyman before experienced the same exact side effects, and it is unknown if these are the only status effects induced by the clergyman. As of this exact moment and everything I've read so far, the clergyman's exact location is very much unknown. And that's terrifying to know that we have a siren-like creature that can pretty much put you in a trance, and if you're not anywhere near it, it'll drive you insane. Which, again, it reminds you of a siren. The siren's call beckoning every sailor in the seas to come and crash their boat and die. But this time, it is in what most people consider a holy place, somewhere where you would expect yourself to be safe. It would seem unnaturally surprising for a seemingly regular, if not a bit advanced robot to be able to sing beautifully and induce strange status effects that manipulate the listener's minds in various ways. However, when a Twitter user stated that they doubt the singing clergyman is a machine, Trevor unexpectedly replied, saying that it is part machine. This might explain
everything strange about its nature, including the origin, which paired with the statement heavily implied that the singing clergyman is something divine and otherworldly. As it was stated before, Robert was waiting for that last message so he can add God's eyes. Now, with everything being said and done, this is still a relatively new creature. Something new, something unknown. And we're still trying to figure it out and get more information on it. Trevor Henderson has added a new creature to his catalog, but is it actually new? Today, we will cover the creature from the stunned in the headlights photo and theorize its possible connection to another of Trevor Henderson's creatures. Stunned in the Headlights is the newest post by Trevor Henderson. The creature that is featured in this photograph is a four-legged, multi-eyed creature with a large Glasgow-like smile stretching across its face. With its large eyes, it stares at the cameraman, stunned by the headlights of their car. It stands a staggering 7 to 8 feet tall, at least that's what we can assume from the perspective and the size of normal cars and the fence behind it. This creature has limited to no information on it, but I have a theory of what this creature may be and where it may have originated. Do you remember Big Charlie, the escaped mutated creature that roams the fields of the United States? From what I've been able to see, I theorize that this is a new creature in yet another evolution of Little Nugget and Big Charlie. Big Charlie is something we still don't quite understand. A genetically manipulated sheep-like creature that has the ability to replicate and evolve at an accelerated rate. That's how Little Nugget has come to be. In a way, Little Nugget could be an offspring of Big Charlie, or a piece of itself that it lost along its journey and began to mutate on its own, like a cancerous cell that keeps growing and growing and growing. After this, they grow into Little Nugget, an adorable little pile of cells and two cute eyes. The cells may also have a chance to evolve into the other. The other is the part of the life cycle of these creatures where they start to gain supernatural abilities. That may include some camouflage abilities and hypnotic abilities. It is also theorized that this creature may be evil or might be the antithesis of Little Nugget. Unfortunately, that is yet to be determined. If Little Nugget doesn't evolve into the other, it will grow into a fully grown creature called the Lamb. The Lamb, like the other, has been able to manifest some supernatural abilities of its own, being able to float and have some sort of telekinetic abilities. Its cute little eyes no longer exist, replaced by a giant gash that goes down the head of the creature. These creatures have been roaming the grasslands of the United States and have also been encountered in some of its small towns. Who would have thought that these creatures would have come from a genetically mutated creature that was used to produce meat for our consumption? What would that mean for people that ate the meat? Have they gained abilities of their own, or have they mutated into another monstrous creature? A question for another day. With all this being said, the connection to the creature from the stunned in the headlights is clear. From what I can conclude, this is the next step in its growth or evolutionary process. The Lamb, after some time, could have started to mutate into this new creature. Something I failed to mention till now is that if you look closely, this creature seems to have no lower legs or feet. What I can conclude is that after gaining the ability to float while being in the Lamb stage, its powers have grown powerful enough that it floats with ease, causing its lower leg and feet area to become ghostly in comparison. Which begs the question, what other abilities could this creature have, and does that mean the abilities that it had previously have become stronger? Could this new evolution still be indifferent to humanity, or has it become evil and more aggressive? That is yet to be determined. And we also have to assume that the other has its own evolutionary tree that we have not seen yet. What do you think of this new creature? Do you think my theory is correct? Or do you have one of your own? Let me know in the comments below.
And you've made it to the end.
Thank you so much for watching. I know I've been lacking in uploads, and I will try my best to work on that, but I will be making an update video soon on what I will be doing with the channel. Yeah, stay tuned for that, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.